Yes lads, you're right. Welcome to the day after debrief for Aston Villa 1, Liverpool 3. Back into Premier League action, back with a win. Goals from Salah, Van Dijk and a first ever goal for STEFAN BAJCETIC. Got the win for us. Ollie Watkins added one to make it 2-1 in the second half, but the Reds pulled through and there's a lot to talk about from the game. There is a lot to talk about. It was not a boring game and there's plenty of positives, couple of negatives that we're going to need to touch on, and obviously we had the great news after the game that Cody Gakpo was signed for Liverpool, which I'll be making its own separate video on, talking about what I expect from him, where I expect to see him play and the impact he could have at the club. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. So how did the game go? Well, we started off quite well. We started off on the front foot, really trying to put ourselves on Aston Villa, impose ourselves onto the game, and we were really good at that. And in the 11th minute or whatever it was, Mo Salah, off a stunning Trent Alexander-Arnold pass into Andy Robertson, who breaks the assist record, knocking it across goal for Mo Salah to break the Christmas curse and make it 1-0. But then after that goal, it was a mixture of Villa coming out of the shell and us almost going into one, and they had a really good spell of about 10-15 minutes in that first half where they were causing us a lot of problems. You had a couple of Ollie Watkins chances, a John McGinn chance and a big Leon Bailey chance which he just couldn't connect with, but we rode through that storm. The defending was solid and Alisson Becker bailed us out a fair few times, and then in the 37th minute I think it was, corner comes in, bit scrappy at the back post, Mo Salah knocks it back, Virgil van Dijk on the volley, takes a little deflection off Ezri Konsa, but it was going in anyway. Virgil van Dijk makes it 2-0 to the Reds, and it's all plain sailing. You get to half time, you come out of half time, you're expecting to see the levels carry on, maybe it could be 3 or 4-0, but Villa came out like they'd done when they conceded the first goal, putting pressure on us, making us feel uncomfortable. But unlike last time, where they just couldn't find the back of the net, they found the back of the net twice this time. The first one was offside. Trent Alexander-Arnold held his line really well, and Ollie Watkins was a couple of yards offside. But the second one did count. Brilliant Douglas Luiz cross in, and Ollie Watkins, third time lucky, fourth time lucky, whatever it was. Great header, make it 2-1, and really sort of cranked the pressure up. But Jurgen Klopp saw it coming and he made the subs, and in bringing on Harvey Elliott, in bringing on Joe Gomez, in bringing on STEFAN BAJCETIC, he just calmed the game back down. And in the 70th minute or whenever it was, STEFAN BAJCETIC off a Darwin Núñez parried away cross with some ridiculous composure flicks it over the outcoming goalkeeper and then knocks it through Tyrone Mings' legs for his first ever professional goal. And it was a special one, and then we just rubbed it out from there. But if I'm looking at the positives, it's a win. Every win's a positive at the minute. Put the pressure straight on Tottenham, who are in fourth. We've got a game in hand on them and we're 5 points behind them. If we're able to win our game in hand, we'd go 2 points behind them. And they're not playing a very sustainable style of football at the minute, should I say. And I do think that's your avenue into the top four. So a win's always a positive. I thought Alisson was back to his brilliant best, bailed us out a fair few times. It is a little bit concerning how much we are having to rely on him, but when he's in this form, you can afford to rely on him. But we do need to start limiting the amount of chances he has to face a game, because it is a bit mental at times. I thought Trent Alexander-Arnold was brilliant. I really did. I thought you saw him in a very sort of reduced, limited role. There was very little of him trying to bomb on and overlap, but that was fine. He just operated in his areas, playing them brilliant long raking passes, and obviously one of the passes of the season to get the pre-assist for the Salah goal. It's so special, that, and that's what we need from Trent Alexander-Arnold. And even on a defensive end, they'll bring up the 2 times that they got him behind him in the first half, but on a defensive end he was near faultless, and he won't get the credit for that, unfortunately. I thought Van Dijk was better than what we've seen. The goal, well taken, But there was a couple of moments in that first half where he just, once again, not really committing. But in the second half, you saw it. You saw the slide tackles. You saw the passion. You saw the energy. That was what we need from Virgil van Dijk. Robertson was superb. Superb, Andy Robertson. Outside shot for man of the match, really. I thought Fabinho was good. I thought Henderson was good. I thought Thiago was great. And then Oxlade-Chamberlain didn't really get into the game. Nunes we'll touch on in a bit, and then Mo celebrating the Christmas curse. But if I had to do like player ratings, should we go for some little player ratings? Alisson's getting an 8 or a 9. I can't have a go at him. I can't question him. He's just boss. Alisson Becker is boss. Trent Alexander-Arnold's going to get an 8. I don't think there was much he done wrong. Like I said, the fantastic pass. It's an easy 8 for him. Van Dijk and Matip. I thought Joel Matip was a much better on a defensive end compared to Van Dijk, but Van Dijk gets the goal. I'm going to go 8 for Matip and a 7 for Van Dijk. Andy Robertson, 9. I'm going to give Andy Robertson a 9. I thought the only issue was on the goal, you could have maybe got out to, was it Emi Buendia or John McGinn, who plays it back to Douglas Luiz? He could have got out quicker. But it's on Oxlade-Chamberlain to stop that cross, really, and it's on Joel Matip to head it away. But Fabinho, 7. Henderson, 7. Thiago, 8. I thought Thiago was better than the other two, but that's not a knock on the other two. The other two were still very good. Much improved by their standards they've set this season. Oxlade-Chamberlain's getting a 6. Salah's getting a 9. And Darwin Núñez. We're going to discuss a little bit about Darwin Núñez right now, because obviously Manchester City happened and he got a lot of criticism for that game because he couldn't finish, and in this game he missed more big chances than he played completed passes. Once again, I'm just going to reiterate what I said after the Manchester City game. It is very annoying to watch your striker miss these chances. Do not let me defending him give you the idea that I don't get annoyed when he's missing these chances. It is annoying, but I'm not going to rewrite narratives now and say he is a flop. He's been an awful signing. He's never going to work at Liverpool. He's averaging a goal every 2 games for the club. That's good numbers. He's got 13 goals and assists in 18 games. That's good numbers. Obviously, he's not pretty on the eye. Obviously, there's games like Aston Villa where it just will not go in the back of the net. I mean, yeah, the one when he jumps over it is one of the most mind-boggling things I may have seen. It is one of the most mind-boggling things I may have seen. But I'm still going to give him more time. I still like the majority of what I've seen from him in his Liverpool career. These games happen. These spells of form happen. The thing is, once he gets into a really rich vein of form, the potential for output is ridiculous because he gets these chances. And people will say that's a Timo Werner way of looking at it. That's all we used to say about Timo Werner. Timo Werner deserved praise for movement. Movement's one of the hardest things to do as a striker. To get that movement spot on is really high level, and Núñez has got it. He just cannot find that finishing touch at the minute, and I do believe he'll find it soon enough. I do believe that. And obviously with Cody Gakpo coming in now, he's got a little bit of competition, maybe someone to up the levels again and make him realise he's not just guaranteed a start. But it was a good performance. It was an enjoyable game to watch. I was a bit shocked by the system personally. I did not agree before game about going into the 4-3-3 because I didn't want to see Oxlade-Chamberlain on the left. I know he had an alright game. People will big it up because we don't see anything of Ox, so watching something different is a big thing. It was an okay game from Ox, but we get to the same issue where Liverpool Football Club, until Gakpo joins, if we continue to play 4-3-3, are putting square pegs in round holes, and we might well continue to do that after we sign Gakpo, because it's just been a common theme this season. We have not got a left winger at the minute. We will not have one for Leicester. Please, Jurgen, go to the diamond. You've got the players for a diamond. We played the diamond before the break. It worked really well before the break. It gets the best out of Darwin Núñez. It gets the best out of Mo Salah. It gets the best out of Fabio Carvalho. It gets the best out of Harvey Elliott in centre mid. It gets really good levels out of Thiago. I know it can get really good levels out of Fabinho. It will get attacking numbers out of Trent and Robertson. There's so much potential in this diamond, and I want to see it against Leicester, because I did feel for Fabio Carvalho. He did nothing wrong against Manchester City, and he got dropped because he's just not a left winger, and Oxlade-Chamberlain isn't a left winger either. This constantly putting square pegs in round holes is going to hurt us more often than it helps us, and Cody Gakpo is going to be a big help with him being a left winger, with him being able to, even if he's not played left wing, maybe Darwin Núñez goes back out left and Cody Gakpo goes through the middle. But against Leicester, I want to see Fabio get that start. I really like what I've seen from Fabio Carvalho, and until Roberto Firmino is back and we can play him in the false 9, you've got to play a 10 and just give Fabio a chance in that position. He won Young Player of the Year playing as a 10. Let him show why we bought him. Let him show that. But yeah, I mean, I think the Darwin Núñez stuff is crazy. I don't think he can play as a lone striker. I do think that's a big thing. I think his skill set requires another striker alongside him, where he will make the runs in behind. He needs his partner striker to drop in and facilitate. Stuff that Salah can do, stuff that Firmino can do, stuff that Jota can do. That's what he needs in a 2-striker formation or in a front 3 out wide. In the middle, I just think what happens is you cut yourself off basically. So all Darwin Núñez gets at that point is long balls over the top, which he has to run onto, and then he rushes them. He is a bit down on confidence at the minute. He's rushing his chances. He's just going through one of them spells strikers go through. But you've got to back the kid. You've got to. Before the break, he was one of our most informed players. He would really turn the corner. People were starting to believe in why we bought him. And 2 games have now fully changed that narrative. And I want to try and just remind people of what we've seen this season, not post-World Cup, because there is a player there. There is a player there. But I'm going to touch just finally on the midfield, because I've been very vocal in my displeasure for the midfield this season. Fabinho has been really poor by standards. Jordan Henderson has been really poor by standards. Harvey Elliott isn't a centre mid. Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain have just not been fit the whole time. So it's very much been almost Thiago against the world in our midfield. But yesterday, everyone pulled their weight in there. You still got a really good Thiago Alcantara performance. You still got that. He will always give you that when he plays. But instead of it being Thiago versus the world, Fabinho was back. Fabinho was there, picking off passes, intercepting, stopping attacks before they can even start, winning his physical battles, and his passing. He played a couple of nice balls out wide to the fullbacks. There was a lot to like about Fabinho's performance yesterday. And I said it against City when he came on. He was one of the better players then. He was one of the better players yesterday at times. I think he slowed down towards the end of the game. But he was one of the better players at times yesterday. He just needs to keep that form going. And I think that World Cup, because he didn't really play, that break that the World Cup's given him has helped him out. And Jordan Henderson, very vocal in my criticism of Jordan Henderson in recent years. I don't think he's got the highest level of technical ability, and I think in a system now that is moving to more technical midfielders, there's certain games where Jordan Henderson's getting exposed. But yesterday he played his role really well. He played his role well. There wasn't any of this crazy Jordan Henderson stuff that I'm used to seeing. Jordan Henderson operated within the confines of Jordan Henderson yesterday. And when Jordan Henderson operates within the confines of Jordan Henderson, you get a fantastic footballer who does a job every game. The issue with Jordan Henderson is when he tries to be something he isn't, when he tries to be a Thiago, and he tries to do stuff that he just isn't made for because everyone else is doing it, so I should be doing it. If you're in the team, Jordan, you're there to do your job, and when you do your job, you're really important. I mean, Harvey Elliott came on, and I think Harvey Elliott deserves his own little video. I think the youngsters do, but Harvey Elliott especially, because I'm a bit disappointed in the recent 2 games because it just feels like he's lost a bit of confidence. I think the World Cup came at the wrong time for him. He's now, instead of trying to... When Ben Doak came on, you saw that youthful exuberance, the type who was sizing up anyone. Luca Dean, Tyrone Mings, whoever he was up against, he wasn't fazed, he wasn't bothered. He knew he could beat them. And that's what's gone from Harvey Elliott's game at the minute, playing in centre mid. He's not trying to take people on as much, he's just trying to keep it calm, keep it safe, give it to someone else, because I can't afford to lose the ball and then they score from it and it's my fault. I think that's what's going on in his head in a minute, and I think if we can sort that out, we'll be back to having the Harvey Elliott that we thought we could get, that we thought we could be seeing from the start of last season. But STEFAN BAJCETIC, obviously, I've been very high in my praise, but I really like what I see. I think there's certainly a player in there, and he can play both centre-back and DM. There's a lot to like about STEFAN BAJCETIC, not only right now, but in the future. And I was buzzing for him to get his goal. Ridiculously well taken, like I said earlier. The composure to flick it over Robin Olsen's leg like that. Many other people just try and smash it as hard as they can, and the keeper saves it, or the defender blocks it. No, it was brilliant from STEFAN. Great nutmeg, happy for the kid. And I'm not necessarily opposed to seeing him get a couple more games. Maybe get a couple of starts in there as well, because he's developing really well and he's shown maturity beyond his years, and in midfield we need that. But yeah, that's it. Not as long debrief today, probably because it was just a standard Liverpool performance. It's what we needed. It was a job done type of performance. There's not much to really break down, get into. There was a lot to like, a couple of things to question, all that discussed. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn that notification bell on, follow the Twitter, the TikTok, all that stuff down in the description. You'll find the links down there. And yeah, check the channel, because my Cody Gakpo signing video will be out next. It will be out within the next 24 hours. I'll discuss what I think about the transfer, where I think he fits in the short term and the long term, and why have we signed Gakpo before we signed the midfielder. All that and more will be discussed. But yeah, that's it. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I will see you all in a bit. Up the Reds.